Hey guys, it's your girl Alicia, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to The Walking Dead. We're now on to episode 22, which is called Here's Negan. So this has been a very highly anticipated episode for a lot of Negan fans. A lot of people have wanted to get that insight into his history, into kind of who he was before he was who we were introduced to back in season 9, somewhere in there. So I know for the long-suffering fans of Negan, they are very much looking forward to this episode. And, you know, just because I'm interested in character stories, it would be nice to see more about the Negan that was before the world ended, and if he was the kind of person that he kind of described to Carl in that one conversation they had together. It'd be just kind of interesting to get that extra piece, I guess, of the puzzle of his character. And maybe it will help us to understand a little bit more about his journey on the show, since he's been a part of the group, especially since his imprisonment, because a lot of people have been on the fence about whether or not to trust Negan since he's started to do things to benefit the Alexandrian community. And now with Maggie returning, I'm sure that he's going to probably feel a little bit more of that initial judgment and hesitation, because of all the people who have beef with Negan, she definitely has the most significant claim after what happened to Glenn. It'll be interesting to see a little bit more about that. We're going to find out about it in this episode. But before we do, you know the drill. If you've been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be able to be notified when I do more reactions to The Walking Dead, as well as other shows that are usually in the same kind of geeky, comic-y vein. Cool. Hopefully you'll join, because we'd love to have you. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into this episode right about now.
You make me happy when skies are gray.
And our mandatory evil stare at Negan every morning. And the very deliberate ignoring of Negan.
And you may have noticed things with Maggie and I are a little bit...
These two friends now?
Lay low. You know, I was thinking maybe you put in a word for me.
Sir?
It's over, at least kind of get the ball rolling. Given our recent history.
I don't think this is a good idea.
You owe me that much, right?
Oh, I know you didn't use the word "oh." You know, I'd be scared to go anywhere with Carol if she's not using her full sentences.
The council has voted to banish you.
Banish? Damn, we going back to them times.
Did the council really banish me? Or is this more of a Carol seizing the reins kind of situation?
Right? He's like, I never actually know with you anymore. If Maggie had her way, sir, you'd be swinging from a noose. So living a little ways outside of Alexandria is far kinder than you deserve.
You must be a bit of a masochist, because...
To imagine having a little Negan living in your head. Jesus.
You are nothing without her.
Oh, I was gonna say without me. Sir, glasses are not exactly easy to come by. Oh, yes, this fateful day where it all went south. Man probably still can't look at stained glass the same. Rick was so mad, and I miss you, Ricky.
We don't have your back.
I miss Michonne too.
Still open.
Sir, what are we doing? We drawing patterns for the aliens? I'm confused. Ooh, flashback. Ooh.
You gotta let me go.
Hey, CGI, how you doing?
I've been tracking him for weeks.
Okay.
I found him, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago.
That's quite literal. I don't know how I feel about Negan wearing plaid. It just feels unnatural. Oh, that's where she came from. Welcome to my laboratory.
You gonna have any problems?
No, sir. No problems.
Sir? I don't think I've ever heard him say that. Out loud.
Okay, wait a minute. So you taught yourself how to give someone chemotherapy?
It's amazing what you'll do for the power of love.
You could say that.
2 or 3 days earlier than... Oh, God. We're doing this again. I don't know the maths. Why? Wow. Maybe one of the reasons you're not feeling well is because you're living off of relish.
You must be surprised. Very much surprised. So lately,
Professor
I
Negan?
was wishing to marry you.
Look at him with his real life wife. Cutie patooties. Okay, apparently Negan needed a little bit of work on his walker killing skills. There you go. Oh, not hard enough. Thank you, Lucille.
You all right?
Turn the generator back on. I want to watch your movie.
Right, woman's like, I'm dealing with cancer. You think I'm worried about this dead guy wandering around, sir? Cocaine.
We need to move. We need other people.
It's just too dangerous out there.
Yeah, I mean, we might run into someone like the future me, and then what will we do? So beautiful to me. We got Negan karaoke time and everything. Who is this man? Man has been through some stuff, man. Cancer is the worst. Legitimately the worst.
I'm just worried that I'm gonna get used to it.
Well, worry was definitely warranted.
How's your dinner?
It was really good.
Well, it's relish.
If I'd known that dog food could taste like this, I would have been eating that shit all along.
So that's why I gave it to Daryl.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's the jacket.
Shit.
That I couldn't return it, so I just hid it, and I told you I returned it. So there you go.
I'm giving you the gift that you actually already bought for yourself. That's some wife stuff. That's some wife stuff right there.
I don't deserve anything from you. And you shouldn't be apologizing to me. It should be me apologizing to you.
You did cheat. A lot.
Just wondering how I got so lucky that you have stuck with me.
Well, I am dying of cancer, so... Forgot about the generator.
You have nothing to barter with, so just stop.
I will figure
Stop.
it out.
Negan? I said stop.
Yes, ma'am!
I have something to tell you.
You can't put a commercial break there. Not the math!
I'm returning it.
I threw the receipt away.
Such a dick move. And you know he'd do it.
Rosemary instead of oregano, and there's a white wine reduction in with the chicken stock.
Wait, Negan could have been the chef of Alexandria this entire time?
I'm getting an MRI. I need you to drive me home.
I can't. Tomorrow at 2:15, I have a meeting with the probation officer. Besides, you know how the doctors can be. They have you sit around for 3 hours with your ass hanging out, and then they tell you everything's fine.
It's an MRI is pretty serious, Negan. They don't just hand those out like candy.
Do you have someone to drive you home?
Uber.
So he should have been there.
Cheating.
Let's go.
He literally skipped his wife's MRI to go cheat. Wow. Wow. Sir. The Lord has repaid you in spades for this. Not your friend Janine! Oh no! Oh snap! Oh Negan, you was a dog. Oh snap! She's not messing around. This is my kind of girl. Just let him come home and give me some lies. Let him lie to my face tonight.
I've got cancer.
You knew. You knew about Janine. About me and her. You
Decided to punish you.
I broke my hammer on the way here.
Here, take this.
So she gave him Lucille. What an interesting twist.
Damn, girl.
No wonder she was so faithful to him. Please tell me that he killed these guys with extreme prejudice. I bet you Lucille's... She's probably not okay.
Lucille?
Picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. Like what? Yeah. She ended it. Oh, snap. I thought maybe she just let herself go peacefully in her sleep, but damn. Well, not with the bat. Just use a knife. Why would you play this song in this moment? What's wrong with you? Don't give her a kiss, Negan. I know it's tempting. Don't be like Beta. Don't do it. Can't you see? Oh. This is when he snapped. This is giving me Governor vibes. Is he about to go back and wreck those gangsters? Because I feel like that's what he's gonna do. This is kind of like crazy when you think about the fact that that's his actual wife. Like, I don't know if like seeing your actual spouse like that, I feel like that could really be a bit trippy, even though we know this isn't real. R.I.P. Lucille. Oh! Got over your fear of getting used to it pretty quick, huh?
What the hell is going on out there?
Revenge, bitch. Here's Negan. Boom, bitch.
You go find your daughter and make sure she's okay.
He's like, I'm not done with this man, so best you leave and avert your doctor eyes. There'll be no healing today.
Now here's the important part. I really want you to pay attention to this.
Full Negan.
People get so angry they say they. So the point of this is.
Don't get in fights, kids.
It's to me seeing red.
Oh.
Seeing red. So this.
Oh, the shot. Ugh!
This is for not killing me.
Bye. Oh, it's broken. Just like you.
Shame is the one thing that I still felt.
Can't outrun shame, my friend. You gotta face it.
I'm sorry that I named a stupid baseball bat after you.
Yeah, especially one that you literally murdered people with.
I hope that you found someone in the afterlife and you are screwing your brains out.
That's not the way it works. Who's gonna tell him the barbed wire don't burn? Maybe we need to explain to Negan what banish means.
If you stay here, she will kill you.
Probably.
I just didn't want your death on my conscience, and now it's not.
Carol is such a sociopath. I love it. Maggie versus Negan. Who will walk away the victor? Well, guys, that was the Here's Negan episode. The proverbial backstory somewhat of the man we know today. Now we finally know the story somewhat of Lucille, about how he turned from whatever he was in the old world into what we eventually saw in this one. And I think it was really well done, actually. It was a really good bottled episode to tell us a story about a character who's obviously had a huge impact on the show. And it really kind of gave us a little more insight into who he was as a person. I mean, we knew a lot of his story already because of, you know, the little tidbits we'd gotten from either his storytelling or, like I said, that conversation he had with Carl all those seasons ago. But I think now we finally kind of see the emotional side of the story and more of it coming from his perspective versus him kind of trying to... Because, you know, when he told his stories in the past, it was always with the color of him still trying to be the arrogant, you know, trash-talking bravado guy, whereas this one was genuinely just his real memories of what went down. And, you know, we'd heard, you know, he'd already talked about how he had cheated on his wife, you know, in the past. He told us that when he was talking with Father Gabriel, that he wasn't a good husband, that he cheated on his wife multiple times and that she still stuck with him. And I always thought that was very interesting because I thought, again, I know it happens in real life that a lot of women choose to forgive their cheating partners, but it seems, especially considering how arrogant and asinine we saw Negan being, I was like, what kind of a woman would put up with that and deal with his cheating? Like, she must have been either like a simp or a saint, you know what I'm saying? But it was interesting to see that she didn't really stay with Negan because she still loved him, at least not initially. She stayed with him to punish him, right? Like, I think that was such a beautiful scene where she gets back from the MRI, discovers that she's got the cancer. She's devastated because she's hearing this horrible news by herself when she shouldn't be, considering she has someone she loves who should be there with her. And then she tries to call him, can't get him, calls her best friend, can't get her, figures out that they're cheating together on her. Like, that's just, don't even get me started on how low that is. Like, I have a personal, for me, cheating really bothers me. I just will never, ever, 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 ever see a justification for cheating. I don't care if you are literally married to the devil himself. You can get a divorce. You can leave. You can get out of the relationship. You don't have to cheat. Cheating is just a really poor option, in my opinion. There's just no reason for it. But I digress. But cheating with someone's best friend, like, that's just the dirtiest thing you can do to somebody. So you can imagine how Lucille felt in that moment. She probably felt so alone, never so alone in her life. And then to know that she's been trusting. Imagine, you saw her. She was on the phone with her friend talking about how much of a jackass her husband is, while her friend's like, while literally, like, planning what piece of lingerie she was going to wear for him that night. Like, that kind of stuff is just some... I'm sure her friend got what she deserved. I'm pretty sure. Let's hope she got what she deserved. That moment where she was there and she gets back to her house and she's waiting for Negan to come home to spin some crap at her, some bull about where he really was and what was going on. And she's got the gun in one hand and she's got the pamphlets in the other. And, it's like, choose violence or choose revenge. That's basically what she had in each hand. And in the end, she thought about it and she realized, I could yell at him, I could confront him, I could shoot him, or whatever she was planning on doing, but that would have been momentary, right? He would have ended up probably leaving. She would have ended up dealing with this thing alone. But instead, she said, you know what? Instead, I'm going to choose revenge. Making him sit here and take care of me during what's going to be a horrific time for the both of us is a much better fitting punishment than me giving him the momentary, fury of my anger and potentially a gunshot wound. You know what I'm saying? So very interesting to learn that that's really kind of what happened, that she was really basically trying to make him atone for not being the greatest husband and for being a cheat. I don't know if I agree that that was the right thing to do. I personally would have kind of liked it if she told him to go, So I know what you did, get out. But listen, everyone's got to do what they got to do. And in the end, it probably was a good thing in some ways. Like, I think Negan learned a lot by having to take care of her and having to really put somebody else in front of him, his own needs and his own desires for the first time ever. Because cheating is a very selfish thing. But having to take care of somebody who is ill is one of the most selfless things you can do. So I think it was a very important lesson for him to learn about also sticking around when things get hard or when he was supposed to. It's a horrible thing to watch someone go through, especially if you're with it day in and day out. So it was a lot, like mentally and emotionally for Negan, no matter what he did, that still would have been a very hard thing for him to watch this woman that he loves so much be so helpless and so sick. And the sad reality was that, I think deep down she knew she wasn't going to survive it. Like, if months and months after the apocalypse her health wasn't improving, the chances that she was going to get better were pretty much impossible. She knew it was the end of the line, and that's why she was basically saying, you're still healthy, you can still go on, I know I'm not leaving this house. And she just asked him to do one thing. She was like, just stay with me, let's just ride out my last days together, and then you go on and live your life. And Negan, of course, was just like, no, we're not giving up, we're not fighting. But that's not really what it was about. Is because he didn't want to deal with the worst of it. Don't get me wrong, chemo is gross. The whole situation is very, very hard. But The end is unbearable. And he didn't want to be there. He knew he didn't want to be there. So he was like, let me go. Because like we heard, like he said he was going to look for this convoy. He made it seem like he was going to be gone a couple of days. But when he went to the doctor, he talked about it took several weeks. He went scavenging. He did everything to avoid going back home because he knew she probably wasn't going to be alive when he got back. But coming back to when Negan actually does get back after giving up the doctors and then going back to his wife and seeing her, and the fact that she ended up taking her own life because she didn't want to, I guess she just didn't want to wait, you know, till the bitter end. First of all, that was harsh, but I feel like at first I remember thinking during watching the episode that it was really cold of her to do it like that, knowing that he would have to put her down as a walker potentially, right? That's horrible. And we see that that's not an easy thing to do, right? Like Morgan couldn't do it and it cost him something later on, and you know, Rick wouldn't have been able to do it with Lori. Like it's a hard thing for anyone to have to do, and it scars you to have to do that. In a way, I almost think, considering that we now know that Lucille did have a bit of a vengeful streak in her, I think she did it that way, especially with the please don't leave me like this. That message on the door was a double meaning, right? One was that you shouldn't have left me. But secondly, it was a bit of a, you have to deal with this because you did leave me again. And sadly, as we saw, that was kind of Negan's breaking point as far as being or trying to be a better man, which he was. He really wasn't a bad man. He was someone who made a lot of crappy decisions, but he wasn't a bad man. But then, of course, that was kind of what we saw was the tilting point to him going down that dark, long path that he took as Negan the Savior and just getting a taste for, as he put it, taking out anybody that he felt stood in the way of what he believed in going forward, which was basically that it was a dog-eat-dog world. His wife did say something that was very poignant, was that, you know, she said to him, we should be looking for people, we should be around a community, we shouldn't be isolated like this, and he was so against it. But being in Alexandria, even though it was imprisoned all that time, he was forced to see what real community was like again for the first time in a long time and realize how important it is and the kind of strength he can gain from that. And so I really like that at the end, when it was all said and done, you know, he went back to get Lucille. And I think for a second, there was a part of him that thought, should I go back to this? Because the last time I was left alone, I took the way of the bat. But then, you know, he realized just hitting that walker, and also I think the fact that Lucille was broken was very symbolic, that the bat was broken, that is not going to serve him anymore. I think it was good that he finally got to say all those things that he's been holding on to for over a decade. The apologies to her for not having the strength to stick it out when it got hard. The apologies for not being a good husband. And basically that, you know, that he was sorry, you know, that he wanted to be a better man going forward. And then finally symbolically burning and literally burning that bat, which basically meant the era of that man is over. That he wants to do better. He wants to be a different person. Someone who's going to actually care about people and stick around when it gets hard. And that's kind of what we saw when he re-entered Alexandria at the end. It was basically his choice of getting Maggie to ever, forgive him may never happen. But I think, you know, he earned the trust of the Alexandrians back over all that time of him working and you know, working to kill Alpha and, you know, him helping to rebuild. Like, he's basically doing the hard work of rebuilding people's trust in him and helping them to see that in all these years he has actually changed. And he's just going to have to do the same thing with Maggie. Good episode overall, I think. Like I said, I think it was really a good watch. It was good to see what happened. Obviously, JDM is a great actor, and he was able to carry this episode really well. And it was great to see him and Hillary bouncing off each other. Like I said, it really helps that they're actually married and they had that natural chemistry to bounce off of. So, but this was definitely an improvement over last week. So I will take it. So what did you guys think of the episode? How do you feel about this whole Maggie versus Negan? Do you have a side? And if so, which one is it? Please leave it in the comments below. Let's figure out whose team we're betting on. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next time, see ya.